the Battle Bricks, a game with a diverse amount of units called battlers. These battlers all have different purposes and abilities that make them unique and stand out from each other. In most stages, you're required a full lineup of battlers just to beat it. Most of these battlers can either tank, damage, or support. Even just taking one of these battlers out of your loadout will leave you at a huge disadvantage. But what if you took all of it away and you were left with one slot? So, my question to you, dear viewer, can you beat the Battle Bricks with one slot? While I played the first level in the background, I would just like to explain a few rules that I set up for this challenge. Rule number 1. I cannot spend any Robux on bricks nor XP. Everything that I gain in this challenge has to be 100% free to play. Rule number 2. I am not allowed to obtain any units that can be unlocked by beating other games made by Tumor, like Blood or Friend. And rule number 3, I am only allowed to use one slot. Anyway, the first stage was really just a tutorial. I just spammed battlers and just won the stage right there. Nothing too special. A few stages later, and I unlocked Sword Battler. Now, Sword Battler doesn't really interest me. What interests me is his ult form. However, I did not have enough XP to max him out, so that'll have to wait. Thankfully, Sword Battler was still pretty good, so I was able to beat the next couple of stages with relative ease. Now, the next stage was the first special stage of the challenge, 4 of a kind. Basically, if you don't know, every 5th stage will be a special stage, and every 10th stage will be a boss stage. But more into that when we get there. This stage was really just a pushover and honestly kinda filler stage. Literally just free bricks and XP. That's all there is to this stage. The next couple of stages weren't really anything special. Sword Battler was just able to handle them with ease. Eventually, I was finally able to gather enough XP to upgrade and max out my Sword Battler and unlocking Brigand Battler. Legit one of the most OP units in the early game. Seriously, what are those stats, bro? With the new Brigand Battler unlocked, the next stage was no problem. And thus, we reached the first boss stage of the run, and even the whole challenge, Ultimate Paintball. Paintmaster. A dual-wielding, paintball gunning guy with a gigantic sniper rifle on his back. Anyway, these are the stats that he has in this stage. Oh, and by the way, did I forget to mention that he has that sniper rifle that can just delete one of my Brigand battlers with one shot? Anyway, even with all that, we were eventually able to kill him and beat the stage right after. With my newfound riches, I was able to upgrade some boring things that genuinely, like, no one cares about this. The stage after Paintmaster was literally just battler spamming, hence the name, so it was pretty easy. The next stage introduced the speed coil guys, which were also pretty easy. Keeping it with the theme of coils, in this stage we beat Regen Coil, which is also pretty easy. The next stage we see Gravity Coil Battler. Now, keep that name in your head, it'll be important later. For the next special stage of the challenge, I faced all 3 coils in one stage. And well, it was still easy, literally no change in difficulty whatsoever. After beating the special stage, the next couple of stages are really easy and also filler, so I'll just let the gameplay play in the background. Okay, I'm back. This stage only has ranged units, which we've never seen before in the run, till now, but it's still easy. And now, we reach the second boss stage of the challenge, Rocket Arena. Jet Rock. Just a dude with a huge rocket launcher and a jetpack on his back. These are the stats he has when you first encounter him. They say defense is the best offense, so I just upgraded my bank and waited for them to come closer to my base. This stage is really big, so it took quite a while. Eventually though, they got close enough where I could spam Brigand battlers and they would start stacking on top of each other. It wasn't all sunshine and rainbows though. It was pretty difficult to stack as the main boss himself has splash damage, there's bomb guys who also do splash damage, and not to mention these rocket battlers who would stack behind Jet Rock completely impervious to damage. Did I forget to mention that Jet Rock can use his jetpack and just throw grenades on your battlers, making it more difficult to stack? Anywho, eventually, this happened.
Oh my god!
What on earth? We were able to beat Jet Rock, and not gonna lie, these boss stages are super easy once you defeat the main boss, bro. With the XP I gained, I upgraded Crip, which I thought would be super useful for this challenge, but turns out it just caused me great stress later on. Anyway, in stage 21, the first enemy with armor appears, which really isn't a problem right now since Brigand Battler deals a lot of damage and really isn't affected by armor, but it will become a problem later on. It's insane how OP Brigand Battler is, dude. This man has soloed 2 bosses and is just carrying the run. Bro is literally the GOAT of the battle bricks, dude. The next stage wasn't really anything too special. These stages are really easy thanks to the GOAT. Frankly, I like the name of the stage, but the difficulty is literally the same as all the stages we've seen before. And thus, we reach the first major problem of the run, tank. Now, you might have noticed against the fight with Jet Rock, is that Brigand Battler does not do very well against enemies with splash damage. You take a tanky unit with melee and you get Titan Battler. These are his stats when you first encounter him. Unfortunately, my first attempt with Brigand Battler did not go well. Titan Battler just killed all my brigands and did not let me stack whatsoever. I then attempted to beat this stage with Crip, but then completely forgot that Bucket Battler exists, so it ended how you'd expect. I then attempted to beat this stage with Crip's ult form. It ended horribly. I then decided to do some sub-chapter stages as they were pretty easy and were basically free XP for the idea that I had to beat tank, but more on that later. For now, just enjoy the gameplay. After grinding some chapter stages, I eventually gathered enough bricks to unlock Gravity Battler. This man was my lifeline against Tank, but I did not have enough XP to upgrade him to max, so I decided to grind more sub-chapter stages. Fun! I suppose while I'm here doing sub-chapters, I should explain on why I think Gravity Battler is gonna help me beat Tank. So basically, Gravity Battler jumps really high before doing his attack. Knowing that Titan Battler has a slow swing rate, Gravity Coil Battler is able to jump really high, often making Titan Battler miss his attacks. This jumping ability allows Gravity Battler to stack where other battlers like Brigand would fail. Eventually, I finally got the XP required to max out Gravity Battler. I immediately went to the stage and the shroud was working. Gravity Battler was jumping so high that Titan Battler would only hit one out of the whole stack. However, this process was mind-numbingly boring as Gravity Battler only did like 3 damage. Also, did I forget to mention that they have a slammer cannon? Finally, after what felt like hours, Gravity Battler got the finishing blow. The next stage did not have any Titan Battlers, so Brigand was able to solo that one just fine. Unlike the name, there's nothing really that special about the special stage. It was really easy. However, the next stage did have Titan Battler, so I used Gravity Battler again, but it was really annoying to stack considering there were ranged units and bomb guys. But still, Coil Battler was able to pull through and get us the W. And then we reach the second problem of the run, impending doom. This stage was ruthless. My first attempt with Gravity Battler did not go well at all. And well, I don't know if I've told you this before, but Gravity Battler sucks against ranged units. Like, he sucks really bad. It made it impossible to stack any meaningful amount of Gravity Battlers to deal with the Titans. And well, they just started trickling one by one to their deaths. So once I realized that it wasn't going anywhere, I just gave up. I then got an idea on how to beat the stage, but I did not have enough experience, so I just grinded Ultimate Paintball. My idea was use Titan Battler of my own. It makes sense. He's a tanky unit that does a lot of damage and is kinda stackable, but not really. But other than that minor setback, this battler was perfect for this run and required for this challenge. Titan Battler just swept through the whole stage, didn't even give them a chance to breathe. Now, with the completion of this stage, we unlock the final stage, Doomspire Brigand. Doombringer, basically just a big guy with a hammer. These are his stats when you first encounter him. I decided to play the waiting game again and just upgrade my bank and wait for them to come to me. But the big guy got close and the fight truly began. I forgot to mention that Doombringer has two abilities, but only one of them is actually dangerous. The first one being one where his hammer turns red and he does a lot of damage. The second one being where he does this pentagram thing and he gives everything buckets.
Once he reaches 2000 health, he will then lose his hammer and lower his attack rate by a lot, completely destroying everything in his path.
Now, for my first attempt, it did not go very well. I got him down to 2000 health, but his shockwave when he dies killed my base immediately, and I didn't even get the chance to do anything. For my next attempt, it literally ended exactly the same way as the last one. The big guy got too close, and once he got down to 2000 health, his shockwave killed me, and I didn't even get to do a singular bit of damage to him.
For my third attempt, I was actually able to deal some decent damage this time, but my Titan battlers were overwhelmed by the backliners, the bombs, and the big guy himself. Once he reached the base, there was not much I could do other than pray that my Titan battlers just killed him somehow, but it still wasn't enough. Attempt after attempt after attempt, it all ended exactly the same way. I would get him down to 2000 health, but then my Titan battlers would be overwhelmed, and once he reaches the base, it was lights out. Unfortunately, Titan Battler would at max leave him with 200 and something HP, which was a lot, but it was never enough.
I then tried Telamon Battler, who after every successful hit will heal himself, giving him more survivability at the cost of his attack rate being longer. My first attempt with him was going well, as he was easily stackable thanks to his longer attack rate and also because of his healing. Unfortunately, Doombringer just shred through my Telamon battlers like hot knife through butter. Not enough of them survived to do enough damage to kill him, and considering his longer attack rate, situations like this where he's right at the base, Telamon Battler just isn't reliable. After that disaster, I decided to grind a little bit more and upgrade my base. Although it still wasn't enough to kill him, and the result was worse than the last run. The next run ended the way you'd expect it to end at this point. Same goes for that run. And that run. And that run. Frankly, at this point, I was running out of options, and I was thinking it was impossible, but then this happened.
after all the battles, the Doomspire was overrun by the Battle Bricks, a government of the battlers, by the battlers, for the battlers, in this new world. Or that's what I thought. In the end, nothing really changed. Well, if I have to say something, I see a lot more battlers nowadays. That's pretty much it. Oh, by the way, I had a battler come into my office for a job interview. He didn't get in. We might be really busy, but a battler is just a battler. However, I do feel lucky if I see one in the office or at school. Wouldn't you? Anyways, congratulations to the Battle Bricks. Thank you, Battle Bricks. Battle Bricks forever. And of course, thank you for watching. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. It was super fun to make, and depending on how it does, hopefully there will be a second episode. I'm just showing the stats after the whole video. But anyway, thanks for watching.